I hate soccer and I hate you.
If you're hearing our voices, that means it's time for It's This Meets That, the podcast where we watch the worst movies from trailer to end credits, scene by scene, so you don't have to, but maybe you should. I'm Russ.
I'm Jared.
And we're back.
I love you, buddy. I'm just kidding.
I know.
I don't hate you.
I tried to teach you how to kick a goal, not using your toes, and you just ignored me for the last week. So, oh, man. So we're back with part 2 of our breakdown for playing for keeps. That's what we're doing.
Woo!
So last we left it, we were in quite the situation. Dennis Quaid, Carl, George Dreyer's new buddy, best bud with all the money and the Ferrari, and Uma Thurman's the wife, Patty.
Right.
Just getting out of jail. George is bailing him out. They're driving around, and if I think correctly, we got a little failed hidden threat from Carl being like, basically like, don't mess with my woman.
Right. Which
halfway through the movie feels like, well, that's probably going to come back later to haunt our anti-hero.
Yeah. So he drops Dennis Quaid off from prison at his house. And then, he's still got the Ferrari. So he goes and grabs. I think he's got it until the next soccer practice still. So,
right.
It's not like Carl was going to renege on that.
No.
So then he grabs Lewis at Stacy's house.
He doesn't steal him. He just picks him up. Does he steal him?
No. It's you're right. It's consensual.
Yeah. It's not a child abduction situation. Grabs.
No.
The verb grabs just sound like grabbed him and let's.
Is it in his best interest? Maybe not.
Get in a Ferrari, kid. Like any kid's been like, no. I'm like, all right.
Oh, you remember the rocket ship car in the parking lot, boy? And he's like, yeah, Dad, I do. And he's like, you want to ride in rocket ship, boy? I got candy. And then, lures him to the Ferrari. So they missed the soccer game, clearly.
Obviously.
Lewis isn't stoked about that. He's pretty sad. But George asks him if he wants to take the wheel and if he can handle it. What kid is going to say no? Yeah.
Yeah. I mean, completely irresponsible, but it's also like, kid, you're complaining about missing a soccer game and you're sitting in a sweet ass Ferrari.
Oh, and George is quick to remind him of exactly that. He's like, how many kids go to soccer games? How many kids get to drive Ferraris?
Yeah. Let's put our priorities in straight here. So, then we get
9-year-old Lewis driving a Ferrari now.
Ferrari, making father and son bonding since 1947.
Yeah. And this scene lasts forever.
Oh my God.
It's awful. Way too long. Obviously, like nothing interesting happens until the very end when they lose control slightly of the car and like drive onto the dirt next to the road. They're like, oh no, we landed in the dirt next to the road. Fine.
Then we're by the river, hanging out, chilling, right?
Having a little picnic. Yeah.
Oh yeah.
Cheeseburgers.
Oh yeah.
Cheeseburgers for the boys. And Lewis is like, Daddy, are you sad about mommy getting married again?
Thanks, kid, for rubbing it in, but yeah, you piece of shit.
Yeah, no shit, Sherlock. Of course I'm sad. And he's like, well, if it makes you feel better, I'm not going to call Matt Dad.
No.
Like, oh, okay.
Oh, no, son, don't worry about it. I am sad, but don't worry about it. I'm making up for having sex with all of your friends' moms.
Yeah, Jesus Christ. You know Samantha's mom?
Oh my God.
Later on.
Yeah. So then they're having their moment. And then we get a call from Denise in the middle of this whole moment, right?
Yep. And Denise is like,
love the demo.
Loved your demo of you with no pants in your house. Needs a lot of work, but we can make a good one. We could do a redo right now.
That's what producers are for. Every demo needs a little work. ESPN is looking to expand their soccer coverage. Hint, hint, wink, wink.
Mm-hmm. But it has to be right now. That's explicit.
Right now.
This second. Yeah.
Are you with your son having a heart-to-heart moment over a cheeseburger and Coke, the most American classic heart-to-heart moment? Yes.
Fuck him.
Then it needs to be right now.
Yeah. We have important things to do.
You know what's more American than that? Giving up on all that and going for an opportunity.
Yeah. You know what's more American than that? Working instead.
Yeah. So they drive to Denise's house drop off Lewis there to hang out with Samantha. This is where we see the maid who we, from part 1, if you listened, we figured out that's who the dad's sleeping with.
And she's Italian.
I mean,
need I say more?
I'm not sure what we're hinting at, but correct. Shit. So then they drop off the kids, and the maid's now watching the kids, and then Denise and George head to the studio, the CSA studio, right? Which
like, Aricelli, there's garlic bread and pasta in the kitchen for the kids.
Aricelli.
She's like, I know.
Yeah, I've been working here for a long time. Yeah. So they head to the studio, the CSA studio, why does Denise get to go in there? Was there any clarification of that?
Yeah, I mean, she used to be a sportscaster.
So what used to be? I used to work at a company. Doesn't mean have cards to get in there and like hang around and like play on their stuff. Maybe not.
You and I both know that you do.
Pop in for like the free snacks.
Yep.
Hey, what the hell are you doing here, man?
Yeah, it's Beer Friday.
Anyways, so they go to the studio. Denise and George are hanging out, and she's kind of get them all fired up to do like a kind of put together a real demo now for ESPN, right?
Yeah,
and she's producing crazy.
Sucks.
And he's terrible. And he's like, it's like a moment of tense. She's like, no, do more, faster, record. Here we go. He's like, oh, okay,
harder, faster, better,
faster, slower. Come on, angry, be angry, and he's having a hard time, and all of a sudden, just clicks. He nails it, right? He nails the demo.
Yeah, then he does fine. it's not like he's like the best sportscaster we've ever seen. He does like a 20-second spot, and she's like, "Hey, pretty good."
He nails the demo, and let's just say a little more in the studio.
Mm-hmm.
Is that too much for our podcast? That's too much. That's probably too much.
No, he fucked her in the studio.
They have a moment, and Denise is just laying it on thick, right? And George is like, no.
He's like, no. And she's like, no means yes. And he's what?
No, it can't be sucked into your evil ways. No.
He's like, I'm going to be gone for an hour, kiddo.
Yeah. And they bangarang in the studio there. And then they show up back at the house, and clearly it's...
Well, I love the line there that because George is like, I don't know, you have a husband and a family. And she's like, it's not as if I'm leaving my family, George. I'm just looking for laughs. Ew. Denise,
God.
Gross.
Yeah, come on. Jesus Christ. More like Robbie Fox, gross. Come on.
Yeah, you're right. I don't blame Denise for this.
No.
Catherine Zeta-Jones, this isn't your fault.
It's not your fault. I mean, you probably should have really read the whole script, not just your parts, but...
I mean, you know what? I can't blame you for taking a paying job.
I still
It'd
can't.
Be like if we blame Bruce Willis for taking a paying job, right? It goes both ways. We can't blame them for acting.
You know, as they say, you take whatever job you get, right?
Exactly. Yeah.
So no, you're right.
You get what you get, and you don't get upset. That's what they always used to say. Yeah, money me now. Yeah.
Can't blame you for making a really shitty movie where it has these terrible stereotypes and is terribly written for all these characters. Can't blame you. Can't blame you.
Nope. Not at all. Well, how else would I afford the guest house?
How do you afford the guest house if you don't do movies like this, right? Okay, that makes sense.
Exactly.
So they show back up to Denise and George go back to Denise's home.
Mm-hmm.
Lewis is hanging out playing with an iPad or something like that.
He's bored out of his mind. Yeah.
Bored out of his mind. Samantha's clearly no fun. She's disappeared or something, right?
Yeah. Samantha seems like a real dud. She's like, oh, my sister died.
Real milk dud. Oh, that's another Halloween candy we didn't talk about.
Ooh, yeah. Delicious. Did we talk about Halloween candy before we were recording or during?
I don't know, but maybe we should do a quick recap.
Yeah.
Jared and I were talking about We were talking about Halloween candies. We said the classics were Smarties, Reese's Pieces, Whoppers.
Candy corn, which is bad.
Candy corn, which is terrible.
We're mixed between the two of us. I like them. Russ doesn't.
I hate them. Milk, whatever. It doesn't make any sense. And then there's the pack of like the Mars pack, right?
Mm-hmm.
The Milky Way minis, the Three Musketeers, and the Snickers, and then the Twix.
I like a good Twizzler single. Remember, you used to get those? The plastic wrap Twizzler singles.
Yep.
Those are nice.
Not bad. But anyways,
we're recording this shortly after Halloween. The candy corn pumpkins are the best. Obviously, everyone knows that, right?
Yeah, candy corn. That is I don't know who makes the candy corns. Do we know who makes that?
Brax. It's Brax.
Who makes the devil candy?
The shitty jelly beans that I like. Brax. They make all like the crappy candies of old that I enjoy.
They're the candy company. Like only in Halloween are they popular, and people buy a bunch of bags of them, and then everyone realizes like, oh, these things are disgusting. And then everyone has like a bag or 2.5 left over for like the next month and a half. And you're like, oh, there's candy corn. Let's just put some out while people come over to have some. And it's like, don't pawn off your shitty choice in candy off on me.
No. But yeah, it's Brax. They're a top company. Like like the like the shitty strawberry candies that your grandparents have in their house that are like strawberry. Yeah. It's like it's hard on the outside and like weirdly chewy in the middle, but you're like you can't tell if it's chewy in the middle because it's supposed to be, or if it's because it's been sitting there for a long time. And but
you're still like, oh, I'll eat this. Yeah, I'll eat this because I don't want to talk to grandma because I don't know what to say to her. So I'll put this in my mouth. Yeah.
Yeah. Like half the candy's chalk and half of it's like too sticky in a weird way. It's Brax.
Yeah.
Advertisement for Brax.
Boom.
Big Brax fan. Speaking of Brax, Alien Warfare. Remember?
I remember the movie. Oh, Brax.
Remember the
Brax
the alien. There we go.
There we go. It all comes back. That's called
beep, boop, beep boop up.
Boop up. Right.
It's called a callback. Spelled differently.
This is either we're distracting ourselves from talking about the rest of the movie because it's so terrible, or
little column A, little column B.
Let's mix it up.
Yeah.
Okay. So we're back at Denise's house still. Frazzled. They come in and George comes in. They're all frazzled because like obviously he's running late, and apparently they were out until 11:15.
Which
how much?
That's pretty late.
I mean, how many demo tapes were you shooting?
Right.
If you know what I'm saying.
Wow. I mean, we don't know what time they started.
How much extra time for soccer fans was George Dreyer playing there? Huh?
Matt's like, kids, like, what are you doing?
Yeah, so he races back to Stacy's, drops off the kids, right? Drops off Lewis, right?
Mm-hmm.
And in my mind now, it's like, so did Stacy and Matt have zero idea when Lewis is coming?
He was supposed to be home by 9.
Right. But
so yes, after 9.
Okay, yeah. So this is just another sign of like, hey man, you have a cell phone. Just
right. You're irresponsible. They were worried.
Hey, you know what? He's just gonna stay at my place tonight.
Yeah, a lot of options.
Tons of options. Hey, I had this last minute thing come up. Audition for ESPN. Everything's good.
Sex with Denise real quick.
Matt drops the hammer though. Finally, kind of, not really. He's like,
yeah, you could call it that.
Well, I guess everyone's, no one got hurt. Everyone's home safe.
And then he closes the door and goes, one day you're going to have to explain to me what you ever saw in that guy. He can still hear you, Matt.
Yeah. Fucking Matt. Mm-hmm. All right. So this is literally the halfway point in the movie. So we've made it.
Hooray.
All right. Let's we can power through some stuff here, I think. Let's do it. Let's move on. So we're back in the dryer. Landlord pulls up and asks for rent, basically.
Yeah. Param's like, yo, that security deposit, remember?
Yeah. Hey,
you have a Ferrari now. Yeah. Like you have a fuking Ferrari. Why don't you have a security deposit?
Yeah. What's going on here? And then we get a little hijinks here, right? Patty, aka Uma Thurman there, she calls him on his cell phone, which he doesn't know how to use to text his ex-wife about when his child's going to be home. But anyways, and she's like, hey, little, on the bed, Pulp Fiction kind of moment here. I'm in your bedroom. And he's like, are you? And he looks up and there's one light on up in
Param's bedroom. And
Param's bedroom.
Like, well, it is a little Middle Eastern for my taste. And you're like, that's a weird thing to say.
It's definitely a little weird thing to say. Also, did you actually not look at all the pictures that were in there when... Anyway, so it's all very unnecessarily complicated. And George is acting very erratic. I would think he was on drugs at this point. There's a lot of people, I think, at certain points in these movies where the way they act, like if you were someone actually interacting with someone like this, you'd be like, hey, are you on drugs, right? Can you just take a breath, have a glass of water, sit down?
There's nothing wrong with that. We're a pro-drugs podcast.
It depends what you're getting into, but hey, I don't care. As long as you're not hurting anyone, I don't care.
Broadly pro-drugs, but not like, don't mess your life up.
Yeah, we don't need salt. We're bath salts. We don't need anything. Yeah.
Responsible drug use.
Yes. And just as long as you're not hurting anyone else. That's right. That seems
right.
general.
That's responsible drug use.
Very, right. And that just seems
like
that's
a just general called being cool.
Yeah.
Just be cool, everyone.
Just be cool. But everyone in this movie is erratic and seems like they're all on coke and they're actually harming.
Not cool. Yeah.
And they're all harming everyone else. So, hey, the suburbs, am I right?
They are not cool.
So they get inside, and so Patty escapes out of the landlord's house.
Right. And George decides he's going to take $900 out of the money that Carl gave him earlier for the kids to pay off his security deposit, which you're like, wait, if he didn't pay his security deposit to move into the apartment, like into this house, how is he paying rent? Like, what is he? Yeah.
I'll tell you right now, you can't move in without security deposit. First, last, security.
Usually not. Kind of the standard. It's awful. I don't agree with it, but
I 100% don't agree with it.
Yeah, but I've never been like, hey, landlord, can you give me a couple of months to pull together the security deposit? Of course not.
No, like, no, fuck you. There's someone else's moving to this place.
Excuse me? Yeah.
Sorry.
No.
Are you important? So Patty scoots over to George's guest house there, and George has done this whole, I don't know why is he distracting? Who cares? Like, why is this is like an unnecessarily stressful situation. It's like, it's obnoxious. It's just like, okay, all this is like unnecessary.
Well, I mean, she thought it was Carl. She didn't think
no, but why is his interaction with Pram? Like, why is that?
Oh, I don't know. Yeah.
It's stupid. It's unnecessary.
It's stressful. Yeah.
It's super stressful.
Stupid. So she escapes not home. She escapes into the guest house.
Yes. Yeah.
And she's in George's bedroom with her clothes off.
She's like, whatever. And it's just kind of chaotic. And George is like, oh, you can't be here. You should get out of here. Cause he knows that we already get the threat from the husband, Carl, there. Right. And then she's like, hey, can I get a drink? And he goes in and pours her a drink, and it's just chaos. It's like, why would you pour that much? Like, dude, take a deep breath. Like, is this your first, like, what are you doing here? Just tell her to leave.
And he does. And she does not.
She doesn't. She goes into the bathroom. Please leave. And she goes in the bathroom, and then we hear a door knock / doorbell ring, whatever. And she's like, oh, it's Carl. He pays someone to, watch me, blah, blah, blah. And
which like, you already knew, George. Yeah.
We already knew. And then he answers the door, and it's
Param. Yeah.
And he's like, hey, man, you gave me an extra hundo.
Oh, cool.
Cool, man. And then we see in the background Patty running outside, just running away.
Yep.
And then we get the old Pram asking, like, Mr. George, how do you meet all these beautiful women?
And
say it.
He just says, it's the accent.
To which Pram says,
I have an accent also. So frustrating.
And then what else we got? Any more? Was there more to that? You have a lot.
I don't want to. I had a lot of notes there, but I don't.
I'm really sorry.
Want to talk about them.
I was like,
it's okay.
I was barreling through it.
No, I think I wanted it. Basically, like there were a lot of problematic things. Like she's like, oh, I just need a drink to be a better liar to my husband, and like things like that.
That's a problem.
I didn't really want to get into. She's irritating, and George is irritating. They're all irritating.
Yeah, garbage.
So then we cut to a soccer practice or game. Denise approaches and says that ESPN is interested. Big news.
Guess where we're headed, baby?
Connecticut.
Bristol, Connecticut.
Yep. You hate to see it. Yeah, you're a Connecticut guy, so you can say whether or not you like it, but it's an okay place.
Yeah, okay place. Pizza's fantastic, but yeah.
Yeah. And then she says, whenever I tug my ear, I'm thinking about that time we had sex. And he's like,
I thought she said
what?
I think she said, when I tug on my ear, that means I'm imagining you on top of me. I think that's what she said. But
that's the same thing.
All right. Well, you can't say right.
I made it a little more gauche, but
yeah, you did. Okay. All right. Well, all right.
That's what she meant. It was implied. It's the same.
Maybe they're skydiving and he's on top of her. And
do you think so?
Yeah, maybe tandem. Yeah. A tandem thing. So
no, you're right. I made assumptions.
Yep. So then Denise gives him a kiss, but at the exact same time this kiss happens,
because it's a rom-com.
Poor Lewis. Lewis and Mom are driving up to the game, and Lewis just spots this moment. Denise kissing Dad. That means there's no way the family's getting back together, man. I'm sorry, Dad. I hate to tell it to you.
Saw Catherine Zeta-Jones kissing Santa Claus. Right?
Yeah. And he's bummed about it. This is Lewis's downfall to the dark side. This is where he becomes a Sith Lord pretty much. So he sees that. He gets, he's angry now. Then it's game time.
Let's the hate flow through him.
Yes, let it flow through. Yeah, and then the game time's going. And then we get, a Dreyer, he's paying attention to the game. And then we get Barb calls. It's like everything feels like it's crashing in right now, right? And we got Barb calls, and she's literally just standing off the side, calls him while he's coaching. And why does he answer? First of all, second of all, he does. And he's like, yeah. I'm coaching a game right now, and she's having another moment, and it's just kind of like, what the fuck? It's all crashing down. And pretty much what ends up happening is all of the soccer moms that he's been involved with, Catherine Zeta-Jones, Barb, whatever, distract him from seeing his son score a goal, which it just so happens his son saw him, not seeing him score a goal.
Pathetic.
Like, these are all splits.
Pathetic.
These are split second moments that would never happen, can't happen.
Well,
it's movie happening, right? It's movie magic.
Yes, of course.
It's movie magic. So,
yeah.
So then he turns around and he starts celebrating. He's like, yeah, I missed it. Oh, what? Yeah, he gets all fired up. And it's George. And then Lewis comes over and he's like, you're not even Sam.
Yeah. And Barb's not taking any shit for this, even though she's the one who made the phone call.
Right.
It's only George that has to suffer.
Poor guy.
But yeah.
Am I right? Poor guy.
Poor guy.
Poor guy.
And then Lewis breaks some kid's leg or something.
Yeah. He just goes right in for. Was it a red card, yellow card? Red card.
Red card. Yeah. Red card.
Yeah. You can't.
DQ'd. You hate to see it.
Being super aggressive, just storming off the field. George goes up to him. He's like, hey, talk to me.
Hey, boy.
Where is she?
Where is she? And that's when he does the old, I hate soccer and I hate you.
That's fair.
Fair enough.
Soccer's
yeah, agreed. Couldn't agree more.
Like on both those statements. Yeah. Yeah.
You're a dryer boy. You got to play soccer.
Hard.
You're a dryer.
Not a washer. So then we get back to Stacy's house, and we get
George they're on the phone. They're having a phone discussion.
Well, yeah. It's a Stacy home /phone call. So Dreyer calls Stacy, asks son if it's like, hey, is Lewis, actually angry with him?
And she's like, well, yeah, man. Yeah.
This is a great part. So hold on. Did you catch a goof here? This is a goof. This is an actual goof that I literally caught.
Oh, actual cannibal Shia LaBeouf.
Yeah. So this whole scene, right? It's Stacy's back at home. She's unloading groceries at the back of the car. Yeah, and as we know in every movie, when you're holding a bag of groceries, there's only two things in a bag of groceries. And you can look at every movie ever. It's a thing of lettuce and a baguette.
Milk?
Nope.
Oh.
Baguette and a thing of lettuce.
Sure.
So she goes into the car. She pulls out the bag of groceries with the lettuce and the baguette, right? And she turns around to get the phone call, and she's talking, right? And then they cut to George, and they cut back to her.
And
where's the baguette?
She ate it already.
Yeah.
I knew it.
But she didn't, because they cut back to her, and it's back. So
nice.
Somehow the baguette just went disappearing.
Nice. Yeah, good goof thing.
I got so excited when I caught that one. That was fun. That made me happy.
Tight. Yeah, I'm proud of you.
Thanks, bud. Okay, where are we? We can move faster then. And
yeah, no, Lewis is like blabbing about the Ferrari. We find out like Lewis is a real rat.
Yeah.
Because apparently he's honest, which he gets from Stacy, which sure, we know George is a scumbag. And then they're like, wait, can we meet up for dinner or drinks? And she's like, no. And he's like, dinner? And she's like, no. And he's like, lunch? And she's like, no. And she's like, coffee. And he's like, dinner? And she's like, okay.
But they end up going to lunch.
Right. Sure. Yeah. It's frustrating either way.
So then we move on to the restaurant, right?
Yeah. Then they're like, okie dokie. He's like, no, that's it.
Right. Yes. And then they're at the restaurant and they're eating spicy crab.
Yep.
Which you can eat. Can you eat?
No, I can now. Yeah.
Oh, you can now?
Yeah.
Did you evolve? You've evolved.
As of like when we last worked together. Remember we ate crabs together.
Oh yeah, we went to the crab shack down there in Boston.
It was to celebrate that I could eat crabs then. Yeah,
that's right. That was like 15 million years ago.
No, that was like 2015 probably.
Oh yeah. Yeah, it sounds about right. Yeah, it's 20 million years.
Good year for us.
20 million years ago.
Right before the company collapsed.
Right. Which led to the great year, 2016.
Yeah, the best year.
Summer 2016.
That's when I met Thais.
Come on.
So many good things happened to me that year. You know?
Great year.
We got fired.
Kind of.
In the best way. In the best
possible way.
What a dream.
All right, so she's eating spicy crab, which I didn't quite get. I don't know if that's like a Virginia thing. There's spicy crab down there, but anyway. So
no, it's more of a Maryland thing, I think.
Okay, so they eat spicy crab, and she just crushes a beer, and then they're having a good time. And there's a band playing that's not really.
Well, they're not having a good time. It's too spicy for her. That's why she crushes the beer. She's like,
well,
"Oh no, I'm suffering. This is too spicy."
Well, sorry. Yeah, after I said crush the beer, and then they're having a good time.
Yeah, well, right, exactly. Yeah. Then they're wasted. And
there is a live band playing next to them, which that live band is terrible. Why are they not louder?
Oh, yeah. Yeah, a lot of bad things about that too.
But anyway, so they're eating crab, having beers. Either way, it doesn't matter. And then this is where we get a little more story of, George being like, he always looked for in the crab when he was playing. He always looked for a wave, and he's like, oh man, yeah. I wonder if this is going to come back at the end,
Mm-hmm.
in Tiny Kid.
You're the only woman I ever really loved.
Yeah.
Okay. Cool.
Yeah. Well,
this is when.
Why didn't you show her the last 6 years?
Right. And this is when we find out that Lewis was 4 when George left. So it's been a good while. And Stacy says that she hopes George came back for Lewis and not for her, because that would be a waste of everyone's time. Right. Which makes it clear I am not romantically interested in you, even though we got a little drunk together. We had some spicy crabs, which we all love.
Everyone loves to get drunk on spicy crab.
I'm not interested in you, just the crabs. I just love crabs.
She's still making the right decisions, right now? Like she kind of had like an early on, but right now, like that's the right thing to say. Like that's the correct thing to say to him. Like you haven't been around for 6 years, dude. Like you actually suck. You suck at this thing.
Right. You're a bad dad. Try harder.
But that'll change. Don't worry. Because
well, and then they just end the scene. They're like, he's like, oh.
And she's like, I have to go.
Okie dokie.
She's like, I have to go. Thanks for lunch.
Yeah, she's wasted.
Yeah, she realized she's like, oh fuck, I got to drive home now. Somehow we
jumped back to his place, George's place.
Oh no, I thought it was State's because like he had all the gear set up and.
Yeah, you're right. He was playing video games and
Yeah, that didn't feel like he had that set up at his guest house.
I don't know. He might have had it set up at the guest house.
It was kind of weird. I was confused. I was like, I guessed it was like Lewis's.
It seems very separate. Yeah.
But it felt like, I don't know, it was really strange. So, and why is the kid, I don't know, it was whatever. They just need to have this moment. So they just did this. Yeah. So George comes in, chats with him, and the kid's like, hey, I'm going to quit.
Friar boys are soccer boys. Gar.
You're not quitting.
Well, he's like, I think it'd be a big mistake if you quit.
He might as well just say, don't quit. You know who quits? Losers. Do you want to be a loser like that other kid down the street?
Yeah. You know that kid. We all
and
know
then he's like,
kid.
Hey, do you want to go play soccer? You want to go practice right now?
Well, soccer doctor. Yeah.
Soccer.
Let's go a little practice sesh before the big game. And Lewis is like, are you sure? Okay. So then they go and Lewis is bitching because it's raining and how nothing ever works out in our family. And you're like, Lewis, kid. Way to be defeatist attitude here.
Seriously, bro. Like,
yeah, nothing ever works out for me. Like, suck it up, man.
Also,
nothing ever works out for anyone.
Yeah, way to lay it on thick. Welcome to the real world, kid.
Yeah, grow up, Lewis. 9-year-old piece of shit.
Seriously.
Well, my family never works out. Like, no, you're a towel.
Yeah.
Get used to it.
Be better.
But like also at the same time, this does seem pretty unsafe because George is just like, yeah, let's play soccer in the rain. And they're actually sliding around like they're going to die, right?
My thought was like, I was like, oh, maybe this is where the brief intense image happens. Maybe
that's
the
what
kid,
I thought. Yeah.
I thought the kid was going to hurt. Maybe you like run into the goalpost or something or like break a leg.
Oh, I thought George was going to like tear his ACL or something.
And like this gruesome.
Yeah. Oh, my knees. Yeah, exactly.
That's what I thought too. Anyways, no, so they're playing soccer in the rain, having a good time. He's teaching him stuff. Having a great time. And then we cut back to Stacy's house there. We think it's Matt's house, potentially. We're not sure whose house it is, but home.
I think it's Stacy's house.
You think so? We still don't know what she does.
So, yeah.
I think Matt's probably a financial guy, right?
I think Stacy's pretty successful.
So she's like looking outside and she's like, oh, it's raining. I wonder. And Matt's like standing right there and he's like, I'm sure they'll be fine. Like he is an adult. kind of. He's not going to let his kid get hurt, right? And she's like, I'm going to go check on him, basically, right? And she drives down there and she sits in the Jeep and just watches them play and has like a little moment of like, she's creeping like prom is when he's watching. Mm-hmm. There's actually a lot of creeping going on to George's life. Like,
there's too much creeping in this movie.
Right? There's a lot of people creeping on him, just like watching him from the distance.
Somebody's watching you
from a distance. I wonder if anyone's watching me from a distance. Probably not. I doubt it.
I mean, definitely.
I hope so. That'd be kind of fun. Somebody. Kind of fun to like find out if someone's watching me from a distance.
Would it? Is that like one of your? Is that like a kink that you got?
No, it's not a kink. It's just
I want to find. I hope there's a stranger watching me right now.
No, I want to know they are, and I want to find them. Like, hey, what are you doing over there?
Yeah, oi!
Hey. You come out with
kids,
oi! Yeah, hey, you kids over there. I see you looking through my windows, seeing if I'm watering my tomato plants.
Yeah, peeping Roger. Yeah,
I got you. I don't know what that means, but yeah.
Yeah, no one does.
All right, so then we get back to the Dryer house.
Like Lewis just like falls asleep, right? Lewis is a piece of shit.
So he's bitching, complaining about blah, 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 whatever. And then we get back, and then here's the Dryer house. Of course, is where we get the contractual agreement of Gerry Butts shirtless shot, right? We saw in the trailer. Yeah. And he's like, oh, you got mud in your ears. I got mud in my ears. That's more than British, but whatever. And then he comes into wherever, and Lewis is sleeping. He's like, yeah, no, Dad.
Yep.
That's it.
And then the next day,
that entire scene was literally just to show Gerry Butts in his shirtless action.
Oh, definitely.
That's all it was.
So then the next day, the game goes well. Apparently, we're not privy to it, but we see the aftermath.
Yep.
And Lewis is like, Dad, like, why don't you come to the arcade with me and Mom? We're gonna do stuff today. And Stacy's like, yeah, why not? Fuck it. Life's a risk. Let's go.
Yeah. I'm looking to ruin my marriage and get back into this,
Yeah. And then they walk around a pond after the arcade. Everything fun is happening.
Gerry Butts gets his ass kicked in air hockey.
Yep, the usual.
Gotta bring that up. The little kid's like, hey, Mom, did you know that Dad took the ball off away from Beckham? She's like, yeah. Yeah, kid. I licked it. What she actually says is, I was there.
Yeah. And then the little kid goes, I want to play like Beckham.
That's Jesus.
And Gerry goes, oh, come on. It's like, don't you want to play like me, lad? And he's like, yeah, I want to play like Beckham.
I want to bend it like Beckham. And then we get Dryer, Stacy kind of chatting, walking around, talking about the big wedding day.
Oh, getting married, huh? She's like,
yeah. Yeah. This is called moving on with life. This is growing up. This is,
Never thought I'd do it twice.
Oh my God. And then we have a family moment by the water, right? We're all hanging out and I don't know if anything happens there. I don't really care. I kind of was like,
the only thing that happens there is when, that's kind of funny, is when Lewis is like, oh, like, can you come over too, Mom? I'm like, come see my room. And she's like, yeah, of course I want to see your room.
And she does.
Like, yeah, but I was like, why was she so dejected about it?
Yeah.
I get that they're like, oh, maybe she doesn't want it, but at the same time, it was just a weird, I guess, bad acting by Jessica Biel, maybe.
Yeah. Who is doing the best acting so far?
Yeah, definitely not Raspberry.
No.
Award winning.
Absolutely not.
Back at the guest house.
So Stacy's over and hanging with the son. He's showing her his room.
Lewis is like, look at this picture of our family.
It's so depressing.
I drew me and you, Mommy, and you, Daddy.
Yeah. And she's like looking around like, where'd you get the fucking crayons? There's not even crayons in this place. Like, this is desolate. All there is carpet. There's carpet from fucking wall to wall in this place.
And there's like a what's the, not treadmill, but the
Peloton?
Elliptical.
Oh,
There's like an elliptical machine.
Yeah, in the kid's fucking bedroom. Oh, man. Put it in the living room. Jesus.
Or in your bedroom. He has his own bedroom.
Yeah. And then the kid makes a comment about the picture again, and he doesn't remember it. And Mom's like, okay, she have memory. So we get a little spark of things, right? And then the kid goes to bed. And then we're in the living room, kitchen, because it's the same thing. all carpeted. Everything's carpeted.
Laugh, Stace.
Oh, what a fucking! I hate that.
Yeah, I keep doing like a pirate impression. I think for
that's fine. Yeah. Hi, Stace.
Does he make you laugh?
Does he make you walk the plank?
Does he get you a parrot?
Does he have a wooden leg?
Does he plunder for you?
Does he look at you with one eye because his other eye is missing?
Does he make you laugh, Stace? Yeah.
I don't think.
Yeah.
Actually, he's fucking hilarious. He's actually a stand-up comedian. That's why he's always home during the day.
He's actually Sinbad.
Yes.
Matt is actually Sinbad the whole time. I knew it.
That would be amazing. Oh, I love Sinbad. Sinbad's my favorite.
I know you do, buddy.
I know. My tickets for his next show keep getting pushed off. May 2022. I'll see Sinbad. I will see you. I will see you. I've hung on to those for 3 years now. But it's kind of like I hate that. Does he make you laugh? I hate that. It's kind of pretentious. Like that's such a douchey thing to say. Like I don't know. Why are you so funny? Why were you a comedian?
So fucking funny.
Yeah, because I haven't seen a Funny Bone interview yet this entire movie. So
famed comedian Gerard Butler.
So then he gives another wanker speech or tear-inducing speech.
Yeah, for the wankers. This is for the wankers among you.
I've got to tell you, do you think much about me? And he goes on and blah, blah, blah. And then it's like kind of like this intense moment of like, is she going to kiss the pirate or not?
Yeah, and they almost kiss.
They almost
did.
It's close.
Stacy responsibly says no and walks out the door. And she drives away and...
Well, hold on. Well, not until yet. So she gets outside and there's fake tears coming from both her eyes because neither one can like do tears on command, which is pretty tough. Dryer's right there, and they're at the core.
You can think of something sad.
It's true, right? Center, find the emotion, right? Find that moment in your life. Mm-hmm. And Dryer's like, you don't have to, you don't have to go. And she says, no, I do. And then she does, because she's about to get married. She's literally about to get married.
And then she gets home and Matt's like, where were you? And she's like, oh, are you hungry? I'm like, what time is it right now? Yeah. Like, it must be late at night, right?
It's well past anyone's bedtime. Matt's like, probably, he's like,
where's past dinner time?
Like, where's my fiance? Where's my fiance's kid? Who's like,
my boy,
soon to be my boy. But, we don't, she's just like, are you hungry? I'll feed you. Here's some mac and cheese. Okay. So then we're back at the Dryer home.
And Denise calls and she's like, I've got good news, Georgie, buddy.
Guess what, buddy?
He's like, what? And she's like, meet. I'm outside. Look under your chair.
We're going shopping.
Look under your chair. It's $500. And she's like, oh, yeah, ESPN liked the tape, and they want to fly you up to Bristol, baby. Connecticut. Soon it'll be owned by the mouse. And then Param is watching, meanwhile, smiling from the windows like a real creep. He's just like, yes. I have foreseen this. A limited power. Yeah. And then George is like, no, Denise, no. He's like, I have a child. I need to grow up. I have to go back inside.
Newspaper across her nose. No.
Bad Denise. And he's like, I need to be a father. And she goes, oh, you have no idea what you're missing.
And I thought,
I do. That's why I have to leave. What a weird way to end that scene.
And this is where I thought like there was gonna be a leverage moment where she's gonna be like, well, you're gonna get a good job if you come with me, type of moment.
Right. Yeah. I thought so too.
Right. But she's
a bigger person. Yeah.
Yeah. She was like, yeah, well, you leave me in and that's it. Okay. Well, hey, you know what? You're missing out.
She's like, we did just fuck so you could get that job, but okay. Hey, I see you. Okay.
Hey, I'm a player too.
Yeah. We'll see when you need the next one. And then Param's like, that's it? Like, what? I don't care for this.
And then he goes back inside and then, dad gets in bed. Son's there. He goes, sees his son, sees his son. And Lewis is like, Dad, I love you. Please don't leave again.
I want to sleep in your bed, Dad.
To really, jab it home that obviously he's going to stay, right?
Please don't leave me.
But I also love that in this moment, he's like, yeah, please don't leave again. And George is on a plane.
Yeah. Yeah. Yeah, he's
great cut.
To Connecticut.
Yeah.
Like, it's not like he's going anywhere cool either. To Bristol. So he gets to ESPN. He's at the studio and he's like, oh, I'm going to do an audition. Apparently.
And he's crushing it, right? And we get shots of the...
Yeah.
No, well, all right. At first, everyone's like kind of looking around, like a little apprehensive. And we get the shot of people in the studio, like, I don't know. He's pretty good at reading. But oh man, he can actually look into the camera, but then
he goes off script about the French, has a big rant about the French.
Yes. Classic.
So sorry to our French listeners. I know you're out there. It's not what you think.
Yeah, but in this movie world, you suck.
He doesn't hate the French that much. Yeah, less than you think.
Yeah.
He's Scottish. Remember, he hates the English too.
Right.
For different reasons, but
so he's going to improvise rant about the French and how they're not, what are they doing? What's going on here? Blah, 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 blah.
And I've been honored to play for both club and country.
Arr.
Like, arr.
And I raised a flag across the ship to play.
Club and country. And you're like, that's an aggressive statement for this movie.
Yeah, but he's
George Dreyer, welcome to ESPN.
Welcome to Ispen. Fired up. Long story short, welcome to Disney.
Mm-hmm.
Welcome to Mousetown.
Then he's on a plane home. Yep. Then they're like, okay, and here we go. End scene.
And then he's in a car. He calls Stacy's house. Matt answers.
He's like, actually, she's out right now. She's getting fitted for her wedding dress.
Oh, hey, man, I was just in the middle of a game of FIFA playing as you. Crazy, right?
Yeah, and he's like, yar, thanks. Wedding dress, you say?
Where's Stacy? And what's the address of that? You say, wedding dress, please. It's like, why would... The conversation was like, hey, man, where is she? She's getting fitted for a wedding dress. And then he's like, oh, okay. Does he know where?
Yeah, of course. The wedding dress place. There's only one wedding dress place in small town Virginia where they are.
Okay, and then we're at the wedding store.
Then we get the whole speech from the trailer. I'm either too early or too late. In a couple of weeks, I might be too late.
All of that's like a time travel movie right now. We've gone into a time travel movie.
Classic.
Yeah. Fuck, man. And, why move to Connecticut, And he's like, why would I move to Connecticut? And if I don't have the family with me, no one could just pick up and move to Connecticut.
And she's like, that's crazy.
Well, no one should.
What we were really saying was he's moving to Connecticut because he got the job. He wants to bring her. Stacy obviously says no because she's like, George, if you love me, let me go.
Yes. We
can't do this anymore. She walks out. And then apparently she sits in the car and waits for him. And so she goes back out. Yeah. Like she's out in the car crying, and George walks in to the car and she goes, damn you, George.
This is the moment where if you've still been watching this movie, you realize, oh, this movie is written by a guy.
Yeah. It's so frustrating because at this point she has like no agency of her own. She's like, well, I guess if I'm going to take you back, it's going to be at my own pace. Like immediately she just caves in.
I was ready to flip over my coffee table. I was actually angry at this scene. I was like, are you kidding me? You were the smartest character in this entire movie. You're the only one making the right decisions. You're telling him no.
And I get it. I can kind of see where it's coming from if we're being like the basest of human instincts of like, I will definitely go with the path that's easier. This is more difficult. Damn you, George. I get it. I get, or that's easier. That's easier, I guess, to revert back to the old. Either way, it's frustrating. She's like, why couldn't you just come back 2 months later?
Right.
I hate that part because that's like, oh, right. When you first left them.
Right.
Like you could have just come back. And she's like, 2 months. That's so generous. Imagine when be like, hey buddy, like just come back in a couple months. It was so sad. It's a very Gerry centric movie.
Oh yeah.
It's a very George centric movie, right?
100%. It's about him. Yeah. I mean,
and she's like, well, all right, I guess I'm back in.
And then we get the scene from the trailer. Oh man, that from the ladies in the wedding house there, the wedding.
That's a couple that can really talk.
I don't think he's the groom.
Oh boy. Okay. How far are we from done?
Pretty close, actually. I think we're close. So we're wrapping up quick. All right. So we're back at we've had this big moment here, and now we're back, of course, at Stacy's house because Jesus Christ, where else does it go?
And then we're late for the game because of course we are.
Yep.
We're always late for the game.
Oh, well, actually, hold on. There's a quick thing though. Sorry. Before so groom couple's like, hey, that's not the groom, whatever. And then we cut quickly to Stacy's house. And Stacey gets home and she's like kind of erratic and like nervous and whatever. Like obviously she's done something wrong and
Matt's like, hey, what's going on?
Yeah, Matt's be like, hey, hi.
We've been
hey,
dating
hi.
for 3 years now.
Hey, yeah, you wanna chat?
Do you love him?
Soccer field, right? Because this, you know what? At the end of the day, leave it all in the field, right? So it's all building up. We're final game of the season, I believe, right?
Yep. George rolls up to the game in his convertible, and awesome that Param is with Barb now.
Yep.
I'm glad that all worked out.
And guess what he says? It was all the accent.
It was all the accent. Yeah. Poor Param. But good for Barb.
Yeah.
And then so this is when we get a big speech from George about how apparently if they win, this is the championship.
Yeah.
Which we didn't know.
Yeah.
I feel like we had no idea coming into this. Like, no. All of a sudden it's the championship, I guess.
Yeah. Well, this is leading up. If they win, they get in, right? Yeah. But
oh no, see, I thought if they win this is the championship. That's what I took away from it.
I don't know. It doesn't matter. But either they get
there's no game after this. That's what I was like.
Oh, this is it. Okay.
Right. And then they're like, oh, and I'm proud of all of you. I'm so proud of all of you. And let's fucking get these wankers.
Yet again, throw it out there. And then we get shots of Denise in the stands with a new dude already, who is not Gerry Butts level.
Yup. Right. Classic. Which I really, and then the rest of it's like soccer game happens for like 10 minutes and I don't care at all. The movie spent too much time on this kid's soccer game.
It's so fucking annoying. And then we get, though, finally after 10 minutes of garbage soccer, we get slow-mo focus on Gerry Butts fully paying attention to his son, right? And we get him
taking the ball down the field.
And we get him moving down the field. We get Gerry Butts running down, cheering him on. And now we slow-mo just so we know, like, oh, he's focusing on his son now.
Let's go, Lewis.
And then
let's go.
And over Gerry Butts' shoulder in the back right corner, you can still see Stacey.
Let's fucking go, Lewis.
Fuck these fucking wankers. Oh,
fucking wankers. Let's go, Lewis. Take the fucking shot, Lewis.
Screaming from the sidelines. We don't know what's going to happen. The pressure's on.
Take the shot. Take the fucking shot. And then he takes the fucking shot. Yeah, a goal explosion.
Yeah, it's huge. He ties the game in the second half of the game. I don't know. I never know. So the whole point is we see George is fucking focusing on his kid, and that's it. And then Carl shows up.
Fucking Carl.
So Carl shows up and just aggressively comes at George with an envelope. And he's just like, hey, look at these. Look at these things. And he's like, here's some postcards from your visitor or whatever. He's like,
I got pics.
Man, I'm coaching right now. Can everyone just leave me alone? I'm trying to coach us. We're in a championship game.
No. I really think you should look at this right now.
Like right now,
right
here.
Meow. Right meow. Right here, right meow.
And he opens them up and it's photos of Uma Thurman in her lingerie in Dreyer's apartment. Because as we were told earlier in the middle of the movie,
I told you I had guys following her. Oh, yeah. It makes it less weird the more you say it.
Yeah. Yeah. Okay. Yeah, we know. And then full well knowing that they didn't end up sleeping together. It's like, well, why didn't you guys keep taking pictures? Your guy would have kept taking pictures. You would have seen.
It's not what you think. It wasn't me.
And then there's back and forth, and Dreyer's like, I'm coaching a team, and then they just start wrestling.
Yep.
And while they're wrestling, the team scores a winning goal. Actually, I think Dennis Quaid's kid scores a winning goal, doesn't he?
Yep, it was. Yep.
Yeah, nice.
The Cyclones win, and the kids are like, oh, George and Carl are wrestling? Dog pile.
That seemed weird.
Yeah. So then they all just like pile on for a second and then run away.
And then
Stacy realizes that George sucks finally. Thankfully, I was like, oh, Stacy realizes now that George is not the person for her. She should stay with Matt, who is her fiance that she loves. And then she goes, good luck in Connecticut. And so George is moving. Then we get to...
Well, this is the bottom of the barrel. George is, I mean, come on. His hero's journey. This is the bottom of the barrel for him, right? So he's at the bottom. He's got to go to Connecticut to work. So
he's mopey.
Oh, man, I'm going to move to Connecticut. So then
he's going to say goodbye. He's going to meet up with...
I'm saying goodbye. So
Stacy and...
So we're back at the Dreyer apartment there, the guest house, and it's moving day. And he's got movers coming in and moving his stuff out, right? Okay. So he's got all these movers who are taking his stuff apparently to Connecticut.
The movers and the shakers of today's society. Yep.
And this is when we get the scene of carpet all the way into the kitchen, which is just...
embarrassing.
That's
classic.
That's not a guest house. Classic guest house. And then we're at Stacy's house.
Yep. You're right.
I'm not sure how much. It's funny how much editing I do to make us sound okay. How much more I could do to make it sound great.
No, you're doing great.
It's a full-time job.
Yeah, no. Whenever I listen to the episodes, I'm like, oh, we were so coherent.
Yeah, when you listen to the raw material, it's like, oh.
I know it's not the case. I know it's all a lie. But in the back of my mind somewhere, I'm like, oh, wow, like. I do appreciate. I'm like, oh, Russ must have done so much for this to make us sound listenable.
Yeah.
So at this point, George is all sad and mopey. He's going to say his goodbyes. Lewis is like, wait, Dad, I'm not going to see you anymore.
Oh, man, you're moving to Connecticut?
Wait, Pop, I'm not going to see you ever again. He's like, no, we'll have weekends.
No one can stay in Connecticut forever.
Right. He's like, yeah, we're going to miss each other, of course. But, we're going to talk on the phone every day. And he's like, yeah, I guess we will.
It's like you're literally phoning in this relationship. It's
fucked. It's super fucked.
Yeah. So yada, yada, yada. And then George's like, all right, okay, don't worry about it. Leaves him by the tree out front. That's fine.
Yeah. Classic dad move.
And then he hops in his Alfa Romeo, which by the way is packed full of stuff, and
with the trunk open.
Yes, with stuff in a trunk. It's like,
yeah,
we saw you have movers. Why would you put all this stuff?
I'm glad I'm not the only one who's upset about it.
Yeah. By the way, you had like a 1.5 bedroom apartment. You can fit that in a 10-foot. I don't know.
Probably. I mean, my sister moved to a 1-bedroom apartment in her Volvo S60.
Yeah, because you get rid of all the shit you don't need, right?
Right, exactly.
10-foot box truck at most. Anyway,
right.
Whatever. It's here near there. It's just to show he's moving, right? And he's out of town. Right. And it's like, oh man, okay. Yeah, Alfa Romeo is jam packed. So, man. So he takes off. That's it. He's heading to Connecticut, Virginia to Connecticut. Boom. Here we go.
And apparently he's taking the long way.
Yeah, well, I don't think
driving all the way.
I don't think there's a short way.
Well, the short way would be taking a flight and like having your car shipped there. At this point, George is driving away. Stacy is at home crying about George leaving.
This is
when Matt really comes into his own. Okay, and Matt asks her, "Look, I'm not stupid. We've been together for 3 years now. I think you owe me the truth. If you do you still love him?" And she's standing there crying and goes, I never stopped loving him. And then Matt's just like, well, see you later.
Guess I'm playing more PlayStation. You can move out whenever you want. Yeah, take your kid shit out of here too.
I'll be playing FIFA in the basement. And then so George is driving away and he turns around.
Yeah, he pulls over. He's crying. His face is like...
It seems like he made it pretty far.
He
got a couple of states away, right?
Like he's reflecting the fact that he hasn't been around for 6 years and he shows up for 2 months and now it's like, this is
right.
Why do you get to win? Why do you get to win? You think that you should not get to? No, you do not get to win.
Yeah, I'm glad that he is trying to make amends for his shittiness, but I don't know. I agree. It's
garbage.
It's not, none of it is like properly developed. Like, it's not like he had a journey to get here. It's not like there was like he didn't learn his lesson along the way. He was more of a shitbag along the way than anything else. Like the rest of this movie, he's a garbage person.
Yes. Yes.
And then you're like, oh, at the end, he redeems himself somehow, apparently. And like, thank God for that. Poor Matt. Like I agreed with you before that Matt was the kind of team. Matt sucks for separate reasons.
Yeah, he does. But
no one's the hero of this movie. Yeah, no. You're right.
So either way, so George turns his car around, heads back. So clearly he's decided I would give up the ESPN job just to be back. So this is a problem though. Like, are you doing this just to be back to be with your son, or is it to,
or is it to be with,
or is it
Stacy? Right.
Like Garbo.
And it seems like it's more to be with Stacy, and that's I think part of the problem too. That also doesn't make it make sense, right?
No, that's terrible. Like that's garbage. Like this is the problem with the movie, and this is where we come back to like the Fast Fact thing, where the director was like, "Yeah, there's too much focus. Like everyone was like wanted their own thing to happen." It's like, well, there is no focus. Like if you just made this about the kid and his father's relationship, you would have had Liar Liar, right? Like,
right. And the way they wrap this up made me so angry.
Oh, this is so fucking Garbo. So. Yeah. Oh my God. So he drives back. He pulls up to Stacy's home, which I think at this point it's Matt's home, but we'll call it Matt's home.
I think it's Stacy's house. Yeah.
All right. So it's Stacy's house. So he pulls back up.
I hope it's Stacy's.
Yeah. Well, no, this is where this could get really dark for a sequel. But so he comes back, sees his son, whatever, and basically fuck ESPN, right? And then he meets his son. He's like, "Hey, buddy, blah blah blah." He's like,
"I'm gonna find a job here. I don't have it figured out yet. I'm gonna do whatever to make money. Yeah. You know, maybe whore myself out to the other soccer moms.
I mean, there's plenty of other attractive soccer moms around.
Yeah. Right?
I
can do lots of sex work around here. It's okay."
So then they're hanging out in the front yard, socking around, right? And then Stacy comes out front, right? Mm-hmm. I think she just comes out front, and basically she's just like, she basically just called off the wedding.
Yep.
And this was,
well, she explicitly says that. She says, I called off the wedding.
Well, yeah, because you have to say it. It's like, yeah. So she explicitly calls it, I called off the wedding. And it's like, well, this is okay.
Okie dokie.
Okay. And then she's like, "Hey, mind if I play soccer in the front yard?"
Yeah, I want to play. You guys want to play? They're like, "Yep."
So my thought is, where the fuck is Matt? Is Matt inside watching this all?
No, dude. I think that's why I think it was Stacy's house, because Matt, kicked him out. Matt's gone forever. Yeah.
I like the idea that she just came out front and Matt's still inside looking outside from the top window, watching his ex-fiance play soccer with her ex-husband and her kid.
You want to play? Yeah, I want to play.
Front yard. This is why I like the idea of it being his house even more. And he's like, I think I'm going to kill myself.
And that's like rom-com indie pop. And then I love the aftermath here. A few months later, the local station called with an offer.
That's quite the title card, by the way. But anyways,
okay.
And then
there's me.
And then there's we're in the studio, and there's a shot of George and Chip Johnson, his buddy Chip Johnson. So they got a show, the Chip and George show, and they talk soccer.
Yep.
And it's local and looks pretty low production budget.
It literally just says at the end, "The Chip and George show was born." The end.
And they lived happily ever after.
Like, wait a second. Like, I thought that Jessica Biel was also like a main character in this. I thought the boy was a main character in this. Like, I'm interested in how the family turned out. It doesn't matter.
Long story short, it's actually a Chip and George love story.
Chip and George show.
Which is a better ending, actually a better ending than anything else could be possible. So
I love it. What a movie. I hated it. I don't recommend you watch it. This is like in the lower, it got 4% on Rotten Tomatoes, and I think that's generous. Like we've covered movies that were 0%.
I was just going to say.
This should be
zero. This should be below
also 0%. Yeah.
Yeah. Maybe not below it, but at the same level.
This is, it's one of the, damn it. Every time we do this, I mean, I guess that's the point of the podcast. Every time I'm like, oh, this is one of the worst movies we ever watched. I'm like, shit, I guess.
Yeah.
This is one of the worst movies we've ever watched. Good job. Good job, us.
Good job, us. We did it. We're terrified. Yeah. We're destroying face.
Now I'm sad. Yeah.
Super sad.
Glad I did an hour and 45 minutes of that. All right. Well, yeah. God bless you for listening.
Yep. Yeah. But yes, thanks for listening. We'll be back next week with a new movie. We can't say what it is, right? We know what it's going to be.
We can't say what it is.
No. We're gonna tease it out there. But in the meantime, you should follow us on Instagram at @SisMeetsThat, and we're at TMT Pod on Twitter. But you should definitely subscribe to us wherever you listen to us: Spotify, Apple.
And if you're on one of those things, also why not leave us a review? Because we'd appreciate that, and it makes a big difference when other people try to listen to us. So
Big Pharma may see it and want to sponsor us, which
in a perfect world, yeah,
we'll take their money for a year, and
But if you don't want to subscribe or leave a review, you could also send us an email. Or if you do subscribe and review, you can also send us an email. You can do all of these things at once.
There's so much you can do to interact with us.
It's thismeetsthat@gmail.com. We'll read your emails just like Ben's.
Send us a tweet.
Just like Thais, just like Elizabeth, just like all those emails that have come before you. Or if you're in the mood to listen to some old school ITMT, at this point, we've got like 90 episodes or something.
Crushing it.
Go back and listen to the rest on the website. It's thismeetsthat.com. Yeah.
Do it.